live with the 247 Fighting Championships professional featherweight champion, reigning, defending 2022 Pro Fighter of the Year, Ethan the Wolverine Goss. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Awesome.
I wasn't expecting to hear all the applause there.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Danny Palm on the keys,
Yeah.
man. He's hitting his stride back there. The first couple episodes, it would be like we would cue something up for him to press the button, and we'd like look at him like, you going to press that? Now he's all over it. Now he's learned. Yeah, there we go. Got all kinds of sounds for you. We'll keep them at a minimum since Ryan's not here. I think Ryan gets a little crazy with the sounds.
Oh, I believe it.
There are some effects. You don't demonstrate them, Danny. Well, I'm not asking you to demonstrate them, but there are some effects on that thing that if Danny presses it, Ryan just cannot help himself. He'll just go for like 30 minutes. I literally just get up and leave when he starts going.
Yeah, it's no wonder you don't get up and leave all the time dealing with him. So.
Dude, seriously. I got to shout out the Benson Henderson toothpick during the interview right now. That's awesome.
I have like a toothpick addiction.
Nice.
It started because I chewed tobacco, and I was like, well, if I chew a toothpick, like maybe I'll quit chewing a tobacco.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where I chewed a toothpick while I chewed tobacco, and now I got 40 freaking toothpicks laying on my nightstand every night. So
Nice. Do you still chew tobacco? Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately.
What's the tobacco of choice?
Red Seal Long Cut Wintergreen, buddy.
Dude, my dad, he was on that for the longest time. Red Seal. I think he was just natural though.
If you listen to this, Red Seal, pitch out a sponsorship here.
Was Red Seal ever the budget brand? I felt like there was a time where it was cheap. Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
At first.
Okay.
Now it's like the most expensive brand.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Now it's like you might as well choose Skull or Copenhagen or something.
Exactly. It's just as expensive.
It's nuts. How long you been chewing?
Oof. Well, I think I tried it when I was like 13.
Nice.
I remember my cousin, he worked for my dad, and I remember he gave me a chew. And then I was like, when you first time you do it, you get all lightheaded and stuff. You feel all weird and shit. And I remember laying on the tracks of the dozer, being like, "Oh my god!" And he was like, "You better get your shit together before your dad gets back, boy."
What kind was it?
What chew? Oh, Red Seal. Yeah,
the first one. Wow.
Yeah, and then I did the old sod chew for a little while. Red Man.
I would see. I don't chew, but if I did, I'd be going for that, just for the sake of doing it. Just being like, chew Red Man. What's up?
The old baseball pitcher chew stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I used to chew Copenhagen.
Nice. That's some Copenhagen's some potent stuff.
Dude, Danny Palm's from Upper St. Clair. He can afford that Copenhagen.
I think Cope's like the cheap shit now. You know what I mean?
Is it really?
It's like,
wow.
Red Seal's like $5 something a can.
Damn, I'm out of the game. Hard. I never chewed, but my dad, like I said, he actually just quit. He's been done for like 2 years.
Yeah.
He got on those lozenges, the nicotine lozenges. Now he just does those. Apparently they help. I don't know.
I quit cold turkey once for like a couple months, and then I got all like irritated one day, and my buddy was like, I was like, give me a chew, and then bam, right back into it. It's
Done.
Like, damn.
I watched my dad, like throughout my life, I've seen him try. He quit for like a month, kind of same deal, and then just get back into it. But he's like 2.5 years now steady. I think he's got it this time.
I'm one of them people that I always say, like, if I wanted to do it, I could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I wanted it, I'd do it. But it is definitely hard to do once you get hooked on it. But
yeah. You have any negative side effects or anything? Like any breakouts in your mouth or?
No. So like I really don't chew near as much as most people. Most people average probably a can a day.
Yeah, right.
I average like a can every 4 or 5 days.
Oh wow.
Like
okay.
so I'm like
that's way better,
lower scale compared to a lot
like
of people.
That's like a dip or two a day.
Yeah, but I don't take big, like, I hate my lip being stretched out. These guys that take these freaking half a can dips. So, like, man, fuck that. I just take a little.
Don't need all that.
Yeah, I just take a little rabbit turd, put them in my mouth. You know what I mean? So.
Nice. Well, I didn't even know our pro champ is a chewer. This is a good endorsement for Red Seal right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Like they want to tell kids, you're good for the kids, Ethan Goss.
Yeah.
You want to be a champ like me?
Chew Red Seal.
And perfect segue. Chew Red Seal and eat these babies. Ethan Goss brought me the best gift ever from back home. We're from a similar area, not the same town, but a similar area. And we do not get these back home. These, my friends, are Middlesworth kettle-cooked barbecue chips. Ethan brought me these and kettle-cooked plain. Best gift ever, dude. Thank you.
Dude, no problem. Like I said, we connected originally just off Middlesworth chips.
Honestly.
Because it's like they're the greatest chip they ever made. You know what I mean?
They really are.
So.
And it's always been my dream to do a cheers with Ethan Goss. with a chip.
We're going to toast.
You're going to hear us chewing, and it's going to be annoying for 30 seconds, but this is too good to not do. Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
Dude, they're just as good as I remembered, and arguably even better than I remembered. After that weight challenge we did before the last event, I've still been eating pretty clean, so this is like a really special treat for me.
Yeah, that's props, dude. You lost what? Like you lost
40 pounds,
40.
dude.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah, it was nuts. And honestly, like a lot of it has stayed off, thankfully. I thought, over the holidays and stuff, it would all come back, but
The last little bit will. And
Yeah.
it does take a time, you know what I mean? Like even when I cut, and I do it obviously a lot more times
Right.
a year than you do, but like you'll maybe put on 15,
Yep.
the extra 10 like stays off for a
Yep.
long time, unless you're being a real idiot. You're really eating shitty.
well, that is exactly what I've experienced because I was 205 for about 30 minutes. And then I started rehydrating, and then I got back to like 220, and now I'm still 220, 221 in that area. So
Yeah, but no, dude, that was good. Props for you.
yeah, I had to
doing
try.
that.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was the
Dude,
whole
it sucks.
in the sauna. Like I legit did the sauna that day, treadmill sauna. I was just alternating until it sucked.
You
bro.
did like the cut, like
Yeah.
the fighters do a cut.
I
Like,
tried to
it's
do-
crazy. Did you do a water load too?
Yeah, dude. I did the
That's
whole.
insane. How much water did you do?
I did 2 gallons on Monday, and then a gallon and a half Tuesday, gallon Wednesday, and then half gallon Thursday, and then none.
Yeah, see,
Thursday
I
and Friday.
used to do it that way.
Yeah.
And Cam actually was the one that kind of taught, like he listened to the way Chael Sonnen did it.
Okay.
And so he did it the way Chael said about it. I do 2 gallons a day straight for 2 weeks, clear up to the
2
cut.
weeks.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, dude, it sucks. I mean, you piss every 15
Oh,
minutes,
dude.
but
I could not believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do a whole, and even before that, I would do, when I did the taper back, I would do 2 gallons for 1 week, and then I would do the 2 gallons,
Yeah,
gallon and a half, gallon. But now I try to drink as much clear up to the cut.
Okay.
So, and Cam was the one who told me about it. And he tried it, and it worked well for him. And I tried it, and the last 2 times it worked, pretty well. I shouldn't say last 2 times. The last one was
Rough.
was tough.
I remember you saying it.
Yeah, that
rough-
was.
yeah.
I think it was a 12-pound cut for the day of weigh-ins, or
That's so much,
night
dude.
before and day of
That's
weigh-ins. I
just
split
so
it up,
much.
but
I can't
yeah.
imagine. I had like 6 or 7, like 6.5 the day of, and
Yeah.
that felt hard to me. And I'm
See,
bigger
I-
than you. That's
like
a
6. I'm like, yeah, you know what I
You
mean.
got
I'm
that in
6
the
over.
bag.
Yeah, it's
Got
this
that
is
in the
easy.
bag. Yeah,
So-
but like percentage of body weight, 12 for you. That's even crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like 6 for me and
Like,
6 for you isn't even the same.
It's insane. And before, like when I started as a pro, like I thought going to 135 was going to be my ideal. So I did it at 135 twice. And
never
that was,
knew that.
Yeah, that was bad, dude.
Wow.
And that was too much. Like that was the point where like I just felt like a noodle. You tie up with somebody and I was like, dude, I have no
Got nothing.
strength.
Got
Yeah, like
nothing for
it
you.
took entirely too much out of me.
Who did you fight at 35?
What the hell was his name? Kid from Canada. I cannot remember. Lloyd Reyes was the first one. That was my pro debut.
Okay.
And I lost a split decision to him, and I lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he won that night.
Yeah, yeah.
No doubt about it. And then the other kid was Alexander. I can't remember what his name was. It was for King of the Cage at the casino.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. In the parking
yeah,
lot.
they were my first 2 pro fights.
Yeah,
and, I ended up going 0-2.
Jason
So-
Alexander.
Jason, yeah,
there
you
it
go.
is. Nice.
I ended up going 0-2, so I was like, shit.
yeah,
like,
35 isn't the move.
Yeah, so
So-
I went back up then.
Well, that's clearly worked out for you, man. You're hitting your stride right now. That's one thing that definitely is clear watching your fights. These last few performances, man, we say it all the time, me, Ryan, Danny Palm, Jim, but it's clear that you found a new level. Like for the longest time as a pro, you were the guy who would win a few and then maybe lose one that you should win probably. And now it's just you've hit a different level.
Yeah.
Like what's changed for you?
So, I mean, getting started with it, you know what I mean? I was kind of, I forget what somebody called it. There was a term for it where you kind of win 2, lose 2, win 2, lose 2. Getting started in it, like I said, I made the mistake of trying to go too low and wait. And then as I come up, like as soon as I started building momentum, I took a fight I shouldn't have took. You know what I mean? Like I was 2-2, and I ended up fighting Jordan Morales for a belt at WCC.
Wow.
And he was 5-2, 6-2 at times, something like that. So I'm like, I shouldn't have been
Right.
taking some of these fights that I were taking. But the I thought I was hitting my stride after I come back from the Bellator fight because I ended up having a knee injury that put me out for like 6-7 weeks. And then I come back and I fought Brandon Seiler at Genetti in Wilkes-Barre. And, he was a big favorite over me, and I ended up knocking him out in the second round.
Nice.
And then I fought, you guys did the first show. I don't think you was on board yet.
No.
And I beat Elijah Cavender. I finished him. And I'm like, all right, dude, I'm on a stride.
Mm-hmm.
Insert John DeJesus right now.
Yeah.
And so we take the fight with DeJesus, and, dude, I just didn't show up. I mean, John is an animal. There's no doubt about it. It was his night. I didn't show up mentally. I broke my finger in like the first minute and a half of the fight. Like my ring finger was shaped into a V because I got caught in a fence, and like it was it was one of them nights where it was like I'm gonna take a beating.
This isn't my night. Yeah.
And after that, COVID hit, and after COVID hit, Brian still, I think it was 2020, and they were going to put on a show. You know what I mean? And originally we were going to have a crowd, and then crowd got nixed, and it ended up, the only matchup for me was against Ethan Hayes, and I'll be the first to tell you, like, I had no interest in it. You know what I mean? It was like, because he had 2 fights at the time, I had 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, what is there really? And it's nothing against Hayes. It was just,
what are we doing? Yeah, I get it.
But what other options did I have? I wanted to fight. And I had a good camp, everything. I just shit the bed in the fight. You know what I mean?
Got caught.
I got caught. Made a mistake. Made a stupid mistake. Got caught. And I remember going to the back, and I remember, when we were done, I said to the coach, I was like, maybe that's it. Maybe I peaked. Maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I ain't got it no more.
Damn.
And of course, you think about that right away, like the emotions and stuff get into it. And it's shitty. Well, that was during rifle season. So the next day, I got back home. I'm out in the woods. I got all day to myself.
Just
what I mean? Just in the quiet woods, like hunting for deer and shit.
Right.
And I'm just thinking and thinking and thinking. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe if I go back and maybe if I work on this, maybe if I start doing this, So that was kind of what happened. I just started thinking about everything I need to do. Right back into the gym. Not really much time off. Right back into training. And once I'm back in there, I'm rolling. I get, booked against the kid from Wisconsin that was a state champ out of Wisconsin and wrestled in the Dapper Dans. Risky fight to take, against a Dapper Dan level wrestler. But I knew, like, my back was against the wall then. And that, to me, is when I really become dangerous, is when my back is against the wall. And so I just had it in my mind that night, like, I'm going to destroy this kid. Like, there ain't no way I'm walking out of here losing. And I won. Then the Pseudo fight come around.
Yep.
And that was a risky fight to take because I think, dude, we had like 5 or 6 people sign contracts and then back out a couple days later. Wow. So it was really hard, and like they wanted me on. It was the first time he was coming back to Johnstown.
Yep.
And that's a lot closer to me.
Sure.
So and we took the Pseudo fight, and the Pseudo fight, it just, everything opened up. You know what I mean? Everything just, during the fight, everything just started opening up. And it was just like I was seeing things, like I was hitting points, hitting spots that, maybe I wouldn't have hit before and stuff, and it all just started coming together.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, the Hayes, awesome. The Hayes loss. You know what I mean? That was the one where I sat back around. And like went back and flipped the next page of the book and was like, here we go. This is what you got to do.
Was the Jesus fight the first and only time you've ever been knocked out? Finished by strikes?
Yes. Yes.
We'll put it that way.
Yeah, because I
don't think you lost consciousness.
No. I never lost. His leg kick was the worst.
Yeah.
But I got to a point in that fight where like he kicked my leg off. My lead leg was kicked off, and then my finger was broke on my left hand, which I'm a southpaw fighter, so that's my power side. So I don't have a leg and I don't have a hand. I got a broken finger. I couldn't make a fist. Ugh. I'm like, dude, I can't. What am I gonna do? Beginning of the second round come out, I was able to shoot in, take him down, took his back. I remember I was around the neck, like went to reach to grab, and I could not grab anything with my left hand. Like I could have been able to like pull it through and hit the finish, but dude couldn't do it. And I was just, and when that happened, like it was mentally for me, it was like, oh,
I got nothing
shit.
now.
Yeah,
There's like, no path to victory.
And that was a 5-round fight. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I'm in trouble.
It's gonna be a long night
So,
for Ethan
yeah.
Goss.
That was the only fight that I got finished in with strikes. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, like I said, I wasn't knocked out or anything. It was just eventually the point where I just turtled up and I hate to say it because I felt like I quit.
Yeah.
But I basically just, I didn't have nowhere else to go.
Right.
And feeling like and I always said like I'll never quit and I'll never quit, and I did it. And I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really had to soul search on some of that.
Yeah. Did you work with John any after? Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I thought so. Okay.
John and I started training together at. I would go out to Mat Factory and stuff on Sundays, and John would be there. And John and I started training together there, and then we moved around some. And then one Wednesday, I think Darren took us out to Kama's gym, and we all sparred out there. And
Nice.
dude, he's John's
different.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what everybody says who works with him.
Everything he does is painful. You know what I mean? Even with shin guards on, like a kick, it's like, damn, that hurt, dude. Like,
why are you doing that?
And he had an advantage on the feet for sure. And once we got to working together at Isaac's, like I had the advantage on the ground. Like it was big, you know what I mean? His was on the feet, I was on the ground.
Right.
Of course, I didn't really think about it, much before the fight. But,
Sure.
I'm sure he's obviously gotten a lot better. On the ground since moving out to Colorado. So
no doubt.
I follow him, dude. I wish him the best. I hope he does, everything he wants to do. I hope he keeps winning. You know what I mean? Because he's a good dude. He really is.
For sure.
Mean motherfucker to fight, but good dude.
Otherwise, as long as you're not meeting him in the cage, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Fun.
So.
You'll like this fun little fact. We were trying to get DeJesus to fight in December for us. We were close with a few opponents, but I had a post out there that was like looking for a matchup against a pro 145, whatever his record was at the time. And Ethan Hayes texted me and was like, "Hey, who's that pro 145, 10-6, whatever? I don't even remember his record. It's better than that, 14-9 or something like that." And I was like, "It's DeJesus." And Hayes just texted back, "I'm good."
Yeah, dude.
I was like, "That's awesome." Yeah, and I know Ethan won't mind me sharing that. He's the best.
Dude, he's a game dude, man. He's like even when you're sparring or in the gym with him, he's a game ass dude, like nonstop.
He has a fight, I think, coming back up in MMA in March. So that's cool that he's getting back.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight here at the end of January against TJ Lemaire. It was out of the UFC up in Canada.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what
Sorry,
happened
I meant Ethan, not John. But John did have
Ethan
that
had
bout
one.
with Laramie. Yeah. And then who's John fighting now? Do you remember? Somebody else in March. Yeah.
He's fighting for Cage Warriors in March.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know who he's fighting against or anything.
No. But Ethan Hayes has an MMA fight as well in March, so that's cool.
Who's he fighting?
I forget. I don't even know if he's announced an opponent yet, actually.
Yeah.
But I think it's for that Made Men card in Morgantown.
No.
DeJesus is fighting Roberto Hernandez. He's 5-1.
5-1.
That's dangerous, man. Those up and coming studs. Not a lot of upside there.
Well, John does a pretty good job of chopping them down, dude. I mean, look what Bellator threw at him. You know what I mean? Bellator threw him to the wolves,
man.
and he freaking destroyed that kid.
Yeah.
And then they gave him Pico. Of course, Pico's Pico. And, the next fight, they give him that dude that's like 22-3.
I know.
The Brazilian guy, and John fucking beats him.
How nuts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, his run, he's elite, dude. When you talk about the best in Pittsburgh, he's right up there. That's cool, though, man. I like when fighters, you hear it all the time. They fight somebody, and then they train together or become friends. Like, what can you speak to the bond that you get when you fight somebody in the cage?
Oh, dude, it's insane. Yeah. Like you just get a level of respect for the person, when you spend however many minutes trying to take each other's head off. It's funny you say that because one of my best friends was a guy that we met, and when we met each other, we were standing across the cage at Johnstown for Gladiators of the Cage lightweight amateur championship, and he was in my wedding in May, and I was in his wedding in June.
That's
you know what I mean? Like
awesome.
that's how good of friends we are.
Nice.
He's actually going to Mexico with us here, as I'm going to Mexico at the end of the month.
Beautiful.
And, him and his wife are going to Mexico with me and my wife and some other friends that we have.
Nice.
But
Who is that?
Cody Carlheim.
Okay.
He's jiu-jitsu guy. He's a black belt. He's training under George Gargel.
Oh yeah.
Out in Cincy.
Yeah,
out in
nice.
Cincy now. He moved out there and he works for a trucking company.
That's
out
awesome.
there. So, but that's who he's working with and stuff. And he was back for Christmas, and I got to be able to go get a roll in with him and stuff. So
that's awesome.
yeah,
man.
but him and I became really good friends. me and Richie Catalina did it twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you'll see
Richie's the man.
Yeah, you'll like anytime we're at a show, well, both of us are at a show, you'll catch us talking to each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, you get a respect for somebody you tried to.
Yeah. Did you and Richie go to decision both times?
Split decision both times.
Who won? I legit. I'm not
He
setting you
won.
up. I did think
Set me
so,
up.
but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, no, he
I really
won
couldn't remember.
both times.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, they were both like.
That's
way.
what I remembered about him.
And,
I was like, either Ethan won twice or
so-
Richie won. I know one of you won both of them.
So the first time we fought, I fought in Altoona back when Altoona was doing shows, and I fought there November 16th, somewhere around there, or whenever it was. No, 20. I don't remember. 19th, somewhere around there. But I fought there. I finished the kid in the second round by a submission. I got out of the cage. My phone went off. I pulled my phone out of my, like after I get dressed and stuff, my phone out of my pocket. Not even an hour later, Joe D'Amore. For those of you guys that don't know Joe D'Amore, he used to be a matchmaker. Stellar dude. Loved him to death.
Yep.
He used to be a matchmaker for Pinnacle back in the day. And he's the one that brought me out to the Pittsburgh scene before this all happened too. So Joe D'Amore texted me. Said, hey, congrats on the win. Heard you look great tonight. Like, we're still looking for somebody to fight Richie Catalina next week. And there was a Thanksgiving Eve show. They were like 9 or 10 days apart.
Yeah. I remember in Pinnacle used to always do the Thanksgiving show.
And I'm like, all right. Like, was it for a belt? He's like, yeah, we can do it for a belt if I persuade you. And I just remember texting Joe back being like, all right, dude, you got your fight. Like,
nice.
I'll see you there.
Right then.
So, and it's actually not even legal. So you have to have a minimum of 14 days in between fights.
Really?
Yeah, by the state. You know, that's the commission.
How did that happen?
Serb cleared it. Serb was like, yep. I imagine if I would have got beat up or if I would have lost, I'm sure he probably wouldn't have done it. But
yeah.
I had a pretty good showing in Altoona that night.
That's
and,
awesome.
You know, finished the kid early in the second round. And they're like, yep, you got your fight.
killer.
So I show up. At the time, I'm 4-1, 5-1, whatever my record was. You know, Richie had 3 times the amount of fights I did.
He has like 20 amateur fights.
Yeah. And I'm just, all right. Like, but that was the fight that put my name on the map. That was because me and him threw it down that night. We were like amateur fight of the year. And I just remember we went at it. And I remember gassing in that fight. I remember thinking like, oh, you know, I just fought. Like, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm in shape.
Yeah, I gassed out in that fight. And it was like, nope, never again. Never going to do that shit again.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like cardio has become a good weapon for you lately, man. Your conditioning. The Barberina fight to me was like peak Goss so far that I've seen. Like,
for sure, and that's all Ray Ross, buddy.
Nice.
Ray and his wife, they're at Gorilla House. I mean, so I don't know if you've ever been to Gorilla House. Ryan's been there.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Dude, the place is huge, like 57,000 square feet,
a whole
3
facility,
indoor tennis
man.
courts, big like 15,000 square foot gym floor.
That's beautiful.
And the barbell club and stuff, and that's like that's all they do is, you know, cardio and conditioning, spin classes and stuff like that. Like they do some crazy stuff. And Ray is a drill sergeant.
Nice.
You know what I mean? You're in the back and you're doing a row machine, and you're like, come on, you need to get freaking moving.
Dude, that's awesome.
Like, dude, he's on you. And like it sucks to start doing it, and it sucks and sucks. And then it's like each time you do it, you get a little bit better, you're a little bit better. And then like for me, like I just get zoned into it then, and usually like by the end of it, and we do it as a group, you know, me and the other fighters. Usually by the last couple weeks of it, like I'm lapping people. You know what I mean, that's where I'm like,
you're dialed in.
Yeah, I'm just dialed into it, and I'm going. And so the last couple cardio has been, you know, the Barberina fight. I could have done that fight 3 more times.
Yeah, it really did look like it too.
And like in the Tobias Taylor fight, Tobias had just as good a cardio as I did.
Yeah,
like, he was in just as good a shape as I was.
He was coming on towards the end. It seemed I was surprised because the way he's built, he's that shorter, stockier, more explosive. I thought he would gas out. Honestly,
Yeah, no, he was.
It was the opposite. Yeah,
he was there just like I was. Like I wasn't tired.
Right.
And I think he was on the same level as me. We're like Barberina. Like I wasn't tired, and I could tell Barberina was fading away.
Yeah.
And but yeah, in that fight, like, you know, Ray just kills us with cardio. And, you know, I hate it when I do it, but
of course, it's worth it.
It's so much nicer, you know, when you're in there and you know what I mean? So that's so much better.
The Sudo fight too. I mean, I feel like that third round probably won you the fight. The fact that you had a little gas in the tank.
Yeah, the Sudo fight, I kind of, I want to say hit a second wind. I remember in the second round, it was kind of like, I remember after the first round, I'm like, I'm a little bit more tired than I want to be right now. You know what I mean? So, insert second round, you know what I mean? We end up, I think he won the second round, and I'm like, all right, like I got to turn it on now.
Got to find
third
something.
round come out, and then the longer the fight went, the more I just started stepping on the gas pedal, and I'm sure that's what ended up, sealing the deal for me in that fight.
I don't think he's fought since then, has he? Have you seen?
He's not. He's not been very active. Like he didn't fight. I mean, he come right out of Bellator when he fought me.
Yep.
And even before that Bellator fight, I think he's had like a long span, in between each fight. And that kid was a good fighter.
I was just gonna say he's super talented,
dude,
man. That dude is good.
Kid was like he was somebody at weigh-ins. Like, dude, he looks tiny, and then at the fight, you're like, holy shit, he put on some weight. Like that boy big.
He looked like, I mean, like you think of the ideal fighter build, whatever, like lanky, lean, strong. He had the build. He had this.
I read him like a book. Before that fight, and he did everything I anticipated.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And it was just everything. I knew he liked to switch stances a lot, and I knew when he switched, I knew he looked for that big leg kick. So I was like, okay, every time he switched, beat him to the punch, beat him to the punch.
Yep.
And I ended up like kicking his leg off in that fight.
Right.
But I was able to just find my range and find my distance, and that's like, so a big thing with fighting, especially on the feet, is range and timing.
Yep.
Once you find the distance and once you find the timing, everything starts to change.
Right.
You know what I mean? And whether you're the one that found it out or the other guy's the one that found it out, like for a perfect example in that fight, I was the one that had the range and the timing on him. Where the Tobias fight, the first 2 rounds, I had the range and the timing. In the third round, he started to pick up mine.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
and it made it way more of a chess match then.
Yes.
So I had to change what I needed to do.
I got you.
So, and at the end of the day, it's all about winning. So whatever you got to do to win.
Right.
But that's the whole key in the stand up. Once you figure that out, and that's what we do that a lot at Gorilla House. Like Coach Darren is, and him and I have a very similar style, and so I pick it up. You know what I mean? It registers to me a lot quicker than it does some other people. But what he coaches nonstop fucking works. It works.
Yeah.
So,
you could tell in that Tobias fight, and he's a high-level striker anyway, which you knew going in.
USA World Kickboxing Team, you know what I mean?
So it makes sense that he would figure that out and adapt in the fly. But I wanted to ask you, how hard did he hit you in the third
Dude,
round?
hard.
Okay, good.
Hard.
Because when I was watching it, I was like, dude.
He had bricks for hands.
I remember being like, holy shit, Ethan's chin.
Same,
it hit up here.
Okay.
Right? Like right on the cheekbone is where it landed. And I just remember I bit on the feint, right? And he just came around with that hook, and it cracked. And I remember it cracked, and I was like, shit. Like, damn, we got some pop for the third round.
Yeah.
And, he started to flurry, and this is where Rhymes like, oh, dude, you were almost out. Like, you shut the fuck up. I wasn't almost out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got hit. I got hit good, and it was a flash. He's like, well, why'd you shoot then? It's like, well, I'm not going to stand there and fucking duke it out with him. You know what I mean? He's on. Like, he's coming. He's on. Right? Let him fucking do that. You know what I mean? If that's what he wants to do, let him do it. He's ducking right underneath, taking a takedown. But, he hit. I mean, the kid had bricks for hands, and he was deceiving because he was like 5'5". But, dude, I bet you his reach was just as long or longer than mine.
He was long.
Like, he was a knuckle dragger.
Too,
like,
man.
he had his knuckles, like his arms were so long.
Yeah.
And he had an odd right hand. Like, he threw it like kind of like a hook, but kind of like an overhand at the same time. And he touched me with it.
Yeah.
Well, once or twice, earlier in the fight. Where I would come in, I would come off with a combo, and then his thing was he would wait and then fire a big shot.
Yeah, right.
And I was upset with that performance. You know what I mean? I remember as soon as it ended, I looked at Ray and Darren, and I was like, that was a shit performance. And I got one picture I put on Instagram where I said, I think I captioned it "built different." Where it was like, I'm undoing my gloves, and like you can just see like in my that was me pissed. That was me being like,
just
this was
but
still and I was like kind of upset about it. Like I had to call. I called Ray and called Darren a couple of days later, like talk about it. Like it irked me. Like I'm gonna be my own worst critic too.
Of course.
And like Darren said, he's like, he's like, something was different. He was like, you weren't like you were against Barberina. He's like, think about it. What was different? What was a little bit different about it? He's think about it, and then we'll figure it out.
Nice.
And, he's like, even so, you feel like you didn't have a great performance. He said you used 30-27 across the board. He's like, that was a dominant win.
Yeah.
All three judges scored at 30-27. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right.
Nice. Did you know in the heat of the moment that you won? Did you feel like?
Yeah. Solely because 2 and 3 were mine.
Right.
One was I didn't know. Because the only reason I didn't know was because he scored that takedown.
I was going to say, he took you down and reversed. I couldn't remember which it was.
He got in on a body lock against the fence, and it was like I had 2 options, and one was either come over the head and give up my back, or the other one was just give up the takedown and end up in the guard.
Right.
And I chose the latter of the two. And I'd rather not give up my back.
Makes sense.
But, yeah, and I mean, I was down for, 35, 45 seconds, but I didn't know how the judges were going to, you know what I mean? You never know.
Right.
And, but he didn't do anything once he was on the ground. Like, he literally, clamped him down in guard, and I think I was working, for a triangle setup or something.
Sure.
And, he didn't really do much. So, and then after I watched the fight back, like, the commentators and stuff were saying about, like, how I was, like, clearly kind of in control. After watching it back, I'm like, I was kind of.
See that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I was in control. So, I can see how it was 30-27.
Definitely.
But I figured at bare minimum it was going to be a 29-28.
Nice.
For me.
Are you ranked in jiu-jitsu, by the way? Do you train in gi?
Yeah, I actually am receiving my black belt in November.
Wow. Dude, I did not realize that.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Jump on it.
I did not realize that.
Yeah. I've been a brown belt since 2020.
Okay.
And then which my buddy Lenny, he was the one that kind of promoted me because he's a one stripe black belt now.
Wow.
Him and my old coach Jason Dignan, that was who I started doing gi jiu-jitsu under, because I didn't do gi until I was already one fight into my pro career.
Okay.
So
wow.
But yeah, and we're affiliated with it's called Round Table, which is Brad Souders, and he knows everybody knows. They're down there, TCA.
Yep.
Not far from where you
definitely.
grew up.
Yeah, that's super close actually. Yeah.
And Brad just did a seminar at the gym there a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
up
I did.
Up at Gorilla
I saw
House.
That post. Yeah, that's awesome.
He told me then that I think like November 12th or something we're gonna do my black
ceremony.
Belt, promotion.
Killer. So congrats, man. That's huge. Nice.
Thank you.
Hopefully, I mean, we would prefer that you're not a 247 fighter by that point. That's kind of, we love having you for sure.
Loving here, man. What the hell? No, yeah. Ideally, like, I hope it happens, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's going to be my thing. I'm such a determined person, and it's both a curse and a blessing.
Sure.
Like, if there's something I want, like, it might be 8 years from now. But I'm going to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was like that for me with, fighting, wanting to be able to turn pro. Once I turned pro, then I was on a hunt for a title. You know what I mean? I failed twice in trying for it. And then, eventually come around where I put the shit together. And, like, so the next step for me is, like, I just want the chance, to compete. Because I feel like me on my best day, I can compete with anybody in the world. You know what I mean? So I just want that. I just want the opportunity.
Yeah.
But I know you got to work your ass off for it. And like I said, it's a blessing and a curse because you'll put yourself through hell.
Yeah, I mean,
trying to get it.
Your schedule's nuts. I mean, you work full time, train full time, basically full time husband now as well. Like,
yeah. So yeah, I basically run my own business. My dad and I run an excavating business together and stuff. So I'm not just sitting. I'm not running around doing paperwork and stuff. Like, I'm out in the ditch.
Yep.
Shoveling freaking mud. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Building roads, and we're doing all the shit. So it's a grind, dude. It's nonstop a grind. And like I've told so many people, that wants to get into this and wants to try it. I'm like, if this is what you want to do, like, you got to put them eggs all in that basket.
Yep.
And everything else around it has to, work around fighting.
Yep.
Because it's such a dangerous sport. Because if you half-ass it, dude, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna legit get. You're gonna get your nose broke. You're gonna get your arm. And shit's gonna get broke.
Yeah.
So, and you'll see it a lot where a lot of and like Kama, I think, said it perfectly on one of these podcasts where he's like, look now, Like, go back to 2012 or 13 and tell me how many guys are on
Yep.
that poster from then that are still fighting now.
Yep.
And he's absolutely right. Like, sport weans people out.
Crazy, man.
And that's why, like, when it comes to, like, my advice to amateur fighters, you know, like these guys coming up and stuff, like, dude, take your time. You know what I mean? Don't rush it, because it's a whole different ball game when you go pro. That's it. There ain't no more easy fights. There ain't no more, like, lackluster people to be matched with. Like, you're like, if you become a professional athlete in fighting, like, you got some serious killing capabilities.
For sure.
So a lot of these guys will get to 3-0, 4-0, and I'm not singling anybody out. But you see it so much more now than I did back when I was. And, these guys get to 3-0, 4-0, and they're like, yeah, I'm going pro. I'm like, you do what you want, you know, but if you want my advice, like, I would get 5, 6, 7 fights, 8 fights. Like, I did 11.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always told, like, our guys, like, try to do 10.
That was common with that first rush, all those guys we just talked about. Richie Canalina had like 20, literally.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was common.
Like, perfect example. Like, some of these guys are like, oh, you know, they're 2-0, 3-0. Like, oh, nobody wants to fight me. Bullshit. Somebody will fight you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guarantee you somebody will fight you. I mean, you know, dates might not work out for certain people, but somebody will fight you. Yeah. You know, so you take that time as an amateur and you figure out how to become a fighter, right? You've learned to be basically a martial artist. You know, you hone your craft in fighting. You learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what style, what you grappler, striker, wrestler, whatever.
Right.
But it's also a time where you learn the business, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a business.
Right.
Like, promotions, fighting, you know, UFC, 247, everywhere, every promotion is a business. So everybody's got to make money.
Yep.
Right? You got to make money, and the promotion's got to make money. Now, as a fighter, you're just a spoke on the wheel, and the wheel's going to keep turning, whether you're on there or not. Perfect example is Conor McGregor, right? Hasn't fought in 2 years. UFC just recorded the best last 2 years they've ever had without him. You know what I mean? And he's the biggest cash cow they've ever had. No one fighter is bigger than the business. And you see guys try to price themselves out and shit all the time, right? So you got to know what you're worth, but you also got to be realistic with it.
Right.
And as an amateur, that's your time to learn that. You know, learn the business, learn to be marketable, learn to be able to sell tickets, learn to get fans behind you and make people excited to see you fight. So if you're an amateur guy, for example, if you're 4-0 as an amateur and you're doing $500 in ticket sales, right? You want to go pro now. That's it. I'm ready to go pro. You know what I mean? So you jump pro. Now in your head, you're doing $500 worth of ticket sales just for the promotion to cover you.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta be paid $250 to show, $250 to win.
Yep.
That's just your ass.
Exactly.
If you're the red corner, dude, like, you're supposed to be covering the blue corner. At least some of the blue corner guys pay too, because that guy's got to be paid too.
Absolutely.
So, you can't keep robbing from Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean? That's the old saying.
Nice.
You can't keep doing it, because eventually it's going to lose. You know, the promotion's going to lose money. The promotion loses money. It's going to disappear. You know what I mean? It becomes too hard. So, like, fighters, you know, when you're coming up through the ranks, pay attention to things, right? Pay attention to the promotion and how it works. Pay attention to the business. Watch these guys like Kama, guys like Patton. Patton figured it out, right? Watch some of these guys and see how they, you know, what they do, whether it's social media shit, whether it's, you know, just how they fight, you know, whatever. Learn what's going to work for you, become marketable, and then you're going to be you know what I mean? You're going to be you're going to be an asset to have on the card. Like, I'm coming from 2.5 hours away, and you guys load me on a card all the time. You know what I mean? But I also am outselling 90% of the people here in Pittsburgh, which should not happen.
True.
You know what I mean?
We talked about it.
It should not happen. Like, Cherico talked about it. Like, he said, and he was like, yeah, nothing against Goss, but Goss shouldn't be headlining shows in Pittsburgh. And he's absolutely right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There should be dudes outselling me like crazy. You put me in Altoona, I'm going to outsell everybody else. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm doing, you know, a few $1,000s worth of ticket sales coming from 2.5 hours away. Now, granted, I've been around a lot longer. You know, you guys have pretty much already seen the evolution of my fading hairline in the sport. You've been watching from the beginning.
That's the real improvement. Like, not to say anything about your skill set, but the hairline evolution is really the story.
It started here and now it's back here. You know what I mean? So, but yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, that'd just be my advice, you know, to guys coming up.
Well, that's beautiful advice, and especially from our end, I hope people listen to that and really take something from it, because it's exactly what you just said. There's an attractiveness to that, and Ryan for sure, like this, he owns the business, he started the business, it's his money fueling it. That stuff matters. Like, we can't go out of business. That's the bottom line. Like, so, how many promotion? I think the most shows a Pittsburgh promotion ever had was 21. I think Gladiators of the Cage had 21 shows.
Did they have that many?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I think. And we're coming up on 17, I think.
Yeah.
It's like we're right there to become the longest running Pittsburgh MMA promotion, and the number's not that high. Like 21 isn't very many.
Yeah, no. And you guys are definitely growing too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you can see that it's growing and growing and growing. And Ryan's a businessman.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows
man.
what
He definitely knows what he's doing.
And he's financially able to do what he's doing.
Right.
So but a lot of these other guys, that you've seen, like Pinnacle. I remember when Pinnacle was like, they were the cat's ass. They were, when they got started, everybody.
Dude, their first card.
Pinnacle, yeah. And like, they were scouting. They were like, they picked me up in Greensburg when I fought for WCC.
Nice.
Like, I no sooner won the fight, stepped out of the cage, and Joe D'Amore was right there to shake my hand. Like, hey, what do you think about fighting for Pinnacle in August?
That's beautiful.
I don't know who Pinnacle is, but yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty much, how I got started in Pittsburgh. And then,
oh, that's sweet. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, then next thing you know, it was fighting twice in 10 days and fighting on 4 days notice and fighting on 5 days notice and going to Toledo, Ohio to fight an undefeated kid with all first round finish. That was a 4-day notice fight. But,
that seems like good business decision.
Yeah, yeah. I was young and dumb and full of, what. So.
Nice.
So,
but all of this is to say, I think, like, you would not be where you are today without that path. I think you needed that, and to tie into your point of some of these amateurs that go pro after 1, 2, 3 fights. I'm not saying there is a right or a wrong way, because everybody's different.
Absolutely.
Like, there are some guys who they come from a crazy back, like Bo Nickel being an example. Like, he doesn't need 7 amateur fights. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Look at Dalton Rasta.
Right.
Dude, he had what? He had 5 or 7 amateur fights, something like that. Dude, he had how many amateur fights?
Yeah.
And he's a absolute he's the real deal. Yeah, he's the real deal. You know what I mean? Some guys are a lot quicker than others.
Yeah,
like Cam could have went pro by now. Cam competes at a pro level.
Oh,
he's a super high level amateur. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Just by training with him, Bobby Murda. You know what I mean? That kid's pretty high level.
Yeah, I know.
If I was him, I would probably do 1 or 2 more.
Yeah,
just to solidify
just to make sure.
And I would, and then the next 2 that I'm doing, I would be gunning down the best of the best, kind of like what Cam did, how he fought Starner. You know what I mean? Cam was 6-0 and beat some studs, and then takes on a dude that finally pushed him.
Yeah.
That
was a great fight. Yeah. It's one of my favorite fights.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so they scored that at third. That was bullshit. There was no 30-27.
Nah,
Cam won at least
Cam
one
for sure.
round.
I mean, the round that he literally almost finished him.
Yeah, and he had scored a takedown and stuff. Yeah. That was a shit decision. But
Starner's and look how he's 2 or 3-0 now. Yeah. Like, his career has.
That kid's legit.
He's the real deal,
that's
man.
What I mean.
Yeah,
and that's what you need to do. You get your feet wet as an amateur. You get a couple fights in. Maybe you get to 3-0, 4-0. All right, now we start taking on the best of the best.
Right.
You know what I mean? I fought Richie Canalina right after I fought Richie. I ended up going to Ohio to fight, and he actually texted me there a little bit ago. So you give me a shout out, I'll tune in. Nice. I ended up going to Ohio to fight Darrell Hodge.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean?
Go.
And dude, he was the beast back in the day.
Dude,
he's a beast now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was the guy, right? That's the guy that knocked out Cody Garbrandt.
Right.
That's the guy that his only loss was to my teammate Tyler Saltzman. I don't know if you remember Saltzman.
Saltzman's an animal.
So Tyler was my first teammate.
I never
started
knew
at Lionheart. Yep,
I
started at State College in Lionheart with Tyler Saltzman, Mike Putnam, Ben Grove.
That's a crew, dude. That is a crew.
And but yeah. Hodge was #1 nationally ranked, and I remember they hit me up. I think it was Scott Corbin hit me up about fighting, and I forget they offered me one fight, and I'm like, nah, dude, I need to work on a little bit of things. Then they hit me up again, was like, hey, do you know anybody who wants to fight at 145 for a belt? And I just standing back, I was like, dude, if I'm gonna come to Ohio, I want a stiff competition. You know what I mean? I want somebody that's gonna be tough to beat. He's a cool that's what we're trying to do is match Hodge.
Yeah.
I remember texting Scott back like, oh, like you're trying to book for Hodge.
That guy.
Like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, give me a minute.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I call up Ose, who was my boxing coach at the time over at Penn State. Hey, they want me to fight Hodge. Saltzman beat Hodge. I know Hodge freaking knocked out Garbrandt. Like, obviously this kid's good.
Yeah.
He's like, I think Ose was kind of on the fence about it. Like, you ready? You not ready? And I'm like, dude, I want to do it. He's like, all right, man, you want to do it? We'll do it. And the only footage I've had of Hodge was the 40-second clip of him starching Cody Garbrandt.
That's what you got to work with.
And so I'm like, this kid's a striker.
Oh,
right?
no.
So, man, I spent weeks. That's my dad calling. I spent weeks preparing for a striking fight. Get in there and figure out that he was a state place winner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, I wish I'd have known that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he kind of ragdolled me into wrestling and stuff. But, like, I mean, I had my moments on the feet because I remember I landed a great shot in the third round where I thought, like, I'm going to finish
change the
him.
fight.
Yeah. But, and I'm like, okay, well, that made me learn that, like, I got to study opponents a little better from now on.
Damn,
But,
man.
yeah, shout out to Hodge, though, dude. The kid's, and here's another thing about Hodge that nobody knows. Right after I fought him, I was supposed to fight for Pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
And Pinnacle, my fight fell through. I think it was like a week out. And I got this message from this guy in Toledo, Ohio, Primetime MMA. I don't know if they still do shows or not. He's like, hey, do you want to come up and fight Jordan Espinoza? I want to say it's Jordan or something like that.
Okay.
The kid was 7-0, all first round finish. It's not on my Tapology for some reason.
Weird.
But he was 7-0, all first round finishes. 4 days out. It's Toledo, Ohio, 7 hours away. Sure. You know what I mean? I remember texting Demore and be like, hey, like, I got offered this fight. Do you guys have anything in Pittsburgh? If not, like, you care if I take it? And he was like, dude, like, most people wouldn't even ask. Like,
Nah,
yeah, go ahead
true.
and take it. So I took it. And I texted Hodge and was like, hey, bro, I'm like, you near Toledo? He's like, I'm like 2 hours away. Why? And I was like, I got offered a fight up there, but I don't have no cornerman or anything to go because it's such short notice. Like, so I just thought maybe if you were close. He's like, dude, I'll come up and corner you.
That's sick. Nice.
I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? So he came up and he wrapped my hands and shit and worked a corner for me.
Nice.
And everybody, like, and I murked that kid. You know what I mean? I had a great night that night as I dominated that kid. And I remember people in the corner was like, dude, you can tell you and your cornerman work together a lot. Like, 'cause, like, Hodge was really good at, like, keeping me laughing. Like, we were in between rounds. He's like,
that's awesome.
I was like, dude, man, he's kicking my leg real hard. Like, I don't want to eat anymore. He's like, yeah. And then I got cut. I was like, Mike, how bad is he? He goes, you still pretty, though. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, dude, he's
a good liar, too.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Good dude. You know what I mean? To do that for somebody he just beat up. And then they were like, dude, how do you have 3 losses? Like, how do you? I was like, dude, the guy that just cornered me was the guy that just beat me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That ties right back to when we were talking about how you kind of form friendships through fighting. I mean, that's the perfect example right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jarrell Hodge, man, if anybody listening doesn't know him, you got to look into him. He's one of the best from this region of all time, honestly.
He's getting ready to fight for the LFA bantamweight title.
Yep.
And, props to him because I feel like the kid should have got a shot.
I
he
think
should have
so,
got
too.
a contender series shot or something by now.
I mean, kind of, you did have the Bellator fight, but it wasn't really like a Bellator deal kind of thing. It was like a one-off. But you and him are both similar in that regard, where you look at what you've done and it's like, man, what separates you guys from the dudes who are, you know,
like, what more do you got to do?
Yeah, exactly.
He definitely deserves his chance. And, like, come on, UFC, we're getting old here now. You know what I mean? Like, we're on our 30s now.
Yeah.
We're middle-aged men. Come on, help us out.
No doubt, man. And I know Jarrell, I actually saw him post because I think it was Paul Felder and Joe Rogan. It was definitely Joe Rogan. They were just talking about how somebody knocked out Cody Garbrandt as an amateur. And they never said his name. They never looked it up or anything. So we got you, Jarrell. We know it's you.
Yeah, we do. Don't worry. We'll
this is the real podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's been a wild journey for you, and we've been talking for almost an hour-ish, and haven't even mentioned the title defense
lineup
that you have coming up.
Oh.
This dude, Calvin Harbaugh, we didn't know a lot about him, but clearly
we found out.
Yeah, we found out pretty quickly. He kind of ran through Shaka a little bit, looked great, grappling. He's very opportunistic grappler, aggressive grappler. What did you like about this matchup? Because as we've talked about, you need something at this stage in your career that excites you. You kind of said it about the Hayes fight. Like, I wasn't up for that. It didn't excite me. What about this one is doing that for you?
It's completely different than the last one, right? So the last one was, USA World Kickboxing competitor. So it was a stand-up fight, right?
Right.
And I had the privilege. I was on the table, the commentary table, the night that he fought Chaka. And, at the time, I didn't really think anything of it. Like, because Chaka fights at a lower weight class than me.
Right.
They did a catch weight at 140. And, I've trained with Chaka before, too, a couple of times. And this kid comes out, and he kind of imposes his will on his wrestling. And, he stuck to Chaka like glue on the ground exchanges and the grappling and stuff. And I'm like, this kid's pretty decent. You know what I mean? He looks pretty good on the ground. And, show ends. Ryan's like, hey, he said he wanted a title fight. He's like, I told him the only thing I have at pro would be a 145. And I was like, I'll entertain that. Like, I'll do that. Yeah. So it excites me because it's a new challenge. And this kid is very enthused. Like, he's got a lot of enthusiasm.
Yes.
Like, he is very excited for the opportunity. And I know he's putting in work.
Yep.
And I know he's, like, bringing what he's got. And that excites me.
Yeah.
Right? Because now it's like, okay. And Dominic Cruz, I think, said it best. Like, getting to the belt is the easy part, and that shit was hard as hell.
Yeah.
But getting to the belt is the easy part. Keeping it's even harder.
Yep. You hear that?
So now you got the target on your back, and now I got the target on my back, and he's coming down from Michigan to take it. So
yeah, dude, he's not coming into Pittsburgh to leave without that belt. That's for damn sure.
He showed that against Chaka. Like, he wasn't coming into Pittsburgh to be an opponent. He was coming into Pittsburgh to
make a name.
Yeah, make a statement and let people know who he was. And like I said, that excites me.
Yeah, dude.
Because now you're coming into Pittsburgh, and now you're trying to take something from me.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That I've been busting my ass for, these last few years. And now it's like, okay, yeah. And it's into the style of fight that it picks up, because, he's definitely more of a grappler heavy, style fighter. And it's like, great, complete change from what the last time was.
It really is, yeah.
Yep.
That's fun.
I feel like I can do this either way. I always pride myself on being very well rounded. You know what I mean? I can bang it out on the feet with most people, and I can grapple on the ground with most people. Yeah. So
it doesn't surprise me because you said about how much you research your opponents and everything, but I'm glad that you noticed how enthusiastic he is, because that's the word I would use to a T. Like, that's what we've noticed with him as well. In terms of somebody who is taking this opportunity and, like, understanding that this is a big moment for him. He gets that. He's encouraging people to come down. He just messaged us today. He's like, I'm bringing a couple vans full of people with me from Michigan. That's we're bringing
awesome.
We're coming.
I mean, that's great. Like, I hope he does. I hope he brings a pile of people down with him. That's great for all of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but it did. I mean, the kid's definitely excited. Like, there's no doubt. I don't know how old he is or anything, but
I don't know either. Do you know?
He's definitely excited about the opportunity. And that excites me to get me excited, right?
No doubt. And he has that long-term vision as well. Like, this is the first world title he's going to win on his way to winning more titles.
He's 27.
27.
How old are you? 31?
31. Just turned 31. We're both January, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, what's up, dog?
Cool people born in January.
Hell yeah.
Hell with the rest of you guys.
You know
Don't
what
shake
it
your
is.
head, Danny.
When's yours, Danny?
April 7th.
Oh wow.
Yes.
A week before the fight. Dude, I want to. Can we talk about weigh-ins for this fight? Is this something that you want to put out there? Is this a surprise?
Yeah. So no, it might happen, it might not. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I won't know until closer to time. But so my uncle, right? For a kid who grew up in the sticks, I got some pretty cool stuff.
Cool connections. Yeah.
My uncle is a retired brigadier general from the United States military. So that's a 4-star general, which is the highest rank in the United States military. So he was 2 or 3 stars away from that.
Okay.
But he
crazy
got a pilot license. He's one of them people that, like, you ever see the Dos Equis commercial, Most Interesting Man?
Yeah, he just does everything.
Yeah, that's him. Scuba dive, like, has a pilot license. So he always had planes and stuff. And I don't know, it was maybe 15, 10, 12 years ago. He wanted to be able to fly a helicopter, and it's a totally different style, like license and stuff. So he went and he gets his license, and next thing you know, we got to go up to his house with a backhoe to unload a freaking a helicopter, right? So he's got this 2-seater helicopter, and he'd hover around the yard for a while and stuff, and
just casually flying my helicopter around.
Then he got, we went through a couple. We bought a couple. I don't know. He's probably had 4 or 5 helicopters, maybe.
Oh my god!
And so we talked about like, I had a bad experience on going to one of the shows. I think it was the DeJesus fight. So they were doing the Oktoberfest, I think, in Ebensburg.
Oh, no.
Did I tell you this story?
No, I don't know this. I'm excited.
They had the world's largest potato. And I got stuck behind that motherfucker on the way to weigh-ins.
Like
I'm sucked out on weight. I mean, dude, this thing took a 53-foot flatbed up.
No.
Police escort taking both lanes. We're running 40 mile an hour out 22. And I'm on my way to weigh-ins, and I'm just like, dude, I'm ready to like kill somebody because I am so irritable and irritated. Like as soon as there's any kind of traffic jam or something, I'm like instantly pissed off. I'm stuck behind a fucking potato. Like of all things, who gets stuck behind a potato?
How big did it take up
Dude,
the whole?
Huge. It was like 8 foot wide, like 20, 30 foot long. Dude, it was huge. It was insane.
So
I remember being like, "What is that?" Like, and then finally we got up close enough to it. I'm like, "What the like?" Are you serious?
A literal potato.
Yeah.
Dude.
A potato. So
is this why you love Middlesworth so much? You feel like you're taking out revenge on potatoes every time?
Dude, it was unreal. I've never seen anything like it in my life. But so we get stuck behind this thing, and then I'm like, oh man. And then I was saying to my uncle before about like being stuck behind. I said, oh, we ought to just fly out the way in sometime. And he was like, yeah, we could do that. And we looked like Monroeville's a no-fly zone, so we couldn't fly into Monroeville. But we talked about, I said, the Washington show's coming up. So my whole purpose is flying out so I don't get I mean, you just lift off, straight shot, drop in. Yeah. So I said to you guys, like, hey, I'm going to check with him. I know his helicopter needs inspected, and I think it needs some stuff done to it.
Yeah.
But and he's in Florida. Him and my aunt just left for Florida.
Okay.
So they're going to be in Florida for a month or 2. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done in time. If he does end up getting back and have everything ready in time, then it might be something we do. But we were gonna fly in.
That's
the way he was gonna fly in. I said we just need a spot big enough for him to drop down and
come out with the belt on your shoulder,
let
dude.
Let me out and probably like my aunt maybe ride out with my wife, and then she can hop in with him and fly back. But he flies out to Pittsburgh and stuff all the time.
Sure.
So
that's a baller move, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's next level for sure.
So that's what I said. Like, dude, that'd be crazy. Like, good for me, good for you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Marketing, like, it'd be pretty wild. Who else has a fighter? Who else has their champ fly in a helicopter?
I've never seen it, but I remember the Steelers training camp. Antonio Brown flew in on a helicopter one time to training camp, and it made headline. Everybody was writing about it. So
that's that'll get us noticed, man. You know what I mean? Hopefully it happens.
Yeah.
But like I said, nothing's etched in stone. I surely do not want to get stuck behind a fucking potato again.
We'll make sure. We'll take care of the potatoes. We'll scout the highway for you. Make sure it's a no potato zone.
That was, dude. I mean, like,
what are the odds?
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you serious right now?
You're so mad about it, but at the same time, you almost can't be mad. Like, it's so ridiculous that you can't even.
Oh, at the time I was mad.
Yeah,
at the time I was mad.
Sure.
But, like, now looking back at it, it's like everyone laughs at it. Like, now
that is kind of fun. It is kind of fun now,
dude. That just.
Yeah, dude.
That was so stupid.
So after the Tobias fight, I want to shout out the post-fight interview was like mint.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you plan that?
Not really. I just kind of knew what I wanted to say. You know what I mean? And I knew what I wanted to say. Ron's like, "Did you like rehearse that?" And I'm like, "No." He was like, "Well, you said it was
good.
24." He said, "Hell, even 24 hours." Like, that's me being me, man. That was my whole career. It didn't matter what.
Well, we just talked about all that.
It didn't matter who, when, or where. It was always like, let's do it. And then,
fight.
with the UFC, that would be, if they called, I don't care. I don't care if it's Dubai. I don't care if it's Texas.
That's so sick.
I don't care if it's Mexico. You know what I mean? I got a passport. I don't care.
Could be any of them too.
Anywhere. Yeah. I'll go anywhere. I don't care if it's the Apex. I'd rather it be a show with an audience.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll take whatever they give.
Nice.
And like, when we talked to my management team, which I just signed with, I don't know, a couple months ago, back in November. I think November. I signed with Martin's agency group, which is Michael Chandler's Bader.
Dave Martin.
Dave Martin, yep.
He's the man, dude. I love that
Michael
guy.
Chandler, Ryan Bader, I think DC, Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, I didn't even know you signed with them.
Yeah, I'm signed
Robbie
with them now.
Lawler.
Yep, Robbie Lawler.
Dude, they're the best.
I signed with them in November.
Nice.
So,
Congrats, man.
That's my management team now. So, and we talked with him and stuff. And, I told him, like, I'm not opposed to doing another Bellator fight, but I would just be a little bit more picky with, not picky about, I'd be more like, I'm not coming in and fighting Aaron Pico in the first
right
fight.
away.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, ease me into it a little bit. So.
Dude, so we had, when I worked for Flow Combat, LFA, I still don't know exactly why it wasn't branded LFA, but we were streaming an event in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and it was Dave Martin and his guys were like running the whole, it was basically them behind the scenes doing everything. They had Rockhold, like they flew in a bunch of the fighters to be there. Robbie Lawler was there. Yeah. And for that weekend, it ended up just being called Sioux Falls Fight Night. If you look at if you want to look up the card on Tapology.
It's not called LFA.
It wasn't branded LFA. Like at the last, like it was up until about 2 weeks out, and they were like something. I don't know. I really don't know what happened. But the card is stacked. Like for a fun card to look back on, like Logan Storley was on it, Deron Wynn was on it, like David Machad was on it. It was a great card.
I meant the Ruthless one and Logan Storley at Bellator in State College because Logan was on that card. Yeah. And I remember I was in the same locker room as him and Robbie Lawler. And I just remember like Robbie is like a different guy. Yeah. You talk to him and you're like, hey man, like dude, your fight was amazing. He's just like, thank you. Yeah. Like super kind of socially awkward. But then you see him get up and glove up and he starts moving around with Logan and I'm like, dude, this is cool. Like, see this shit in first,
And that would have been when Robbie was like peaking a little bit.
Yeah, Robbie was
the
champ.
Was the shit
I think Robbie
point.
was the. I think he was the champ then. Yeah, because I think he just beat. He either just beat Rory or he just beat Condit. Yeah. So he just beat one of those two.
That's sick.
So, but yeah, and I was in Vegas and was there. I mean, I had pretty good tickets the night that he won the belt off Johnny Hendricks.
Wow, so, nice.
Yeah, me and we have a little bit of
history. Yeah, look at that.
He doesn't know it,
but for you, it's there. Yeah. We went out to dinner one night, and he was there, and I don't know. This it cracked me up for some reason because Lawler to me was like this brawler, this tough. Like I assume he drinks Miller Lite. He had like a fine red wine. I just remember being like,
it's like seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin drink wine.
Exactly. It's like, man, this isn't what I expected.
Expecting some Steve Weisers and shit.
Yeah. So that was a great. I didn't know that you were now represented by them, man. They're the best. Yeah. We had.
Yeah, I actually talked with Ryan about it like before I signed with it and stuff, and we kind of just briefly looked over the contract and everything with Ryan, which and. I had another friend of mine that's like big business oriented guy. Yep. He looked over it with me and stuff too, and I mean it's just basic contract, but and then we ended up and the thing that I liked, so we talked with Sucker Punch, and this is nothing against Sucker Punch, but they just they got 500 irons in the fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're loaded. Like they're good at what they do. For sure. They're loaded. Yep. But like these guys are a bit small group, you know what I mean? But their group that they have are a good group.
Elite, yeah.
So
a little more attention.
Yeah, and they gunned me down. Like I didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they found out through, I think Caden, Darren's oldest boy, they found out about me through him, and then they tracked Darren down and contacted him about wanting to speak to me. And then I think Dan was fighting for Mavericks. We were all in the car, me, Darren, Ray, Kim, and they wanted to call us, so he called us, and wanted to talk and all this stuff. And then he was like, hey, he got my number and stuff, and he was like, hey, I can't just make this decision on my own to sign you. I'm gonna have to bring in one of the higher up guys, and so we'll do another conference call. Nice. And so him and Randall, I can't remember Randall's last name. They both called me the night later. I mean, this was kind of a quick process. This all happened like within 4 or 5 days. Wow. So they were like, and I'm like, okay, like these guys want me. You know what I mean? Exactly. They're coming for me. Exactly. It's not like me trying to, knock the door down, trying to, because I was trying to talk to Jason House. I was trying to get in and like be able to, talk to him about it. Like, because I'm at that point where I'm not gonna know when there's an opening, and they're gonna know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and like
you
I
need
said,
somebody behind the scenes.
You know, I fight here in April, and I beat Harbaugh. You know, and 2 nights later, UFC's like, hey, we need to fight this weekend.
You're in.
I'm in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Broken toe or whatever. I'm in.
Whatever it is.
Let's do it. So
that's huge, man. Yeah, I had no idea. That's really cool news for your career. I can't remember Randall's last name either. I was gonna try to look it up while you were talking, but I didn't want to be rude. I don't think I have.
Ryan would have looked it up, so I mean, it wouldn't have hurt my feelings at all because Ryan's a lot more.
Ailman, is that?
Yes,
I think it's it. Yep. Nice.
Yep.
Dude, that was one of my favorite weekends of my life, honestly. Like that whole experience being with those guys, being around, like it was a party after the fights, dude. Like
I didn't realize how long you've been around.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
I've just seen, I think it was Cherico or something put a video on his Instagram, like a throwback.
I saw,
and like you were in the video, and I'm like, dude, that was like 10, 11 years ago.
Isn't that nuts? That's when I was in college, I think. Still, dude, the funniest part about, I know exactly the video you mean. I didn't know I was going to be in that video. Like, I didn't remember being there. I was like, oh, shit, that's me. What? Yeah. It was like Wilkins and Cherico in the backstage somewhere. Maybe Morgantown even.
Yeah,
I could have been while I was there.
It's crazy when you think about it because, like, to me, it's like, you know, a couple days ago was 2012. And, you know, I was out here trying to make a name for myself. And now it's like, oh man, like now you're the guy in Pittsburgh, you know. Now you're the dude to beat in Pittsburgh. Like everybody, you're the most experienced guy out here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still living in the like Cherico and you know, Cody Garbrandt stages.
Yep.
So,
dude, I mean, after this one, like we said, Harbaugh definitely can't take that dude lightly. Like
no,
this is nothing, no layup for you for sure.
Nope.
This is a fight to get excited about. But if you win that one, I don't know, dude. I don't know if we can book you again. Like, what's next, you know?
We'll see. My management seemed to think, you know, something could happen.
Nice.
You know, with a win here. That'll put me at 5.
Yeah.
5 in a row. My thing is, like, I want to dominate in April. You know what I mean? Like, I want, there's no questions asked. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what I want it to be. And, you know, I know Calvin's coming with that same mentality.
Exactly. So that's going to be fun.
That's what's going to make it fun.
I'm hyped about that fight.
You know, dude, it's a stack card. You guys are loaded. You know what I mean? And it's an honor just to be the headline of it.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and I was at I think I called one of the casino shows. I was on the table, dude, and it's wild there. The atmosphere
is crazy there.
Like a little bit smaller venue, but like everything's like crammed in. And you're like, holy man, like I remember the commission dragging people back from on the first show. There was like, dude, this is insane.
I'm excited for you and Calvin both because Calvin fought in Monroeville, so like both of you get to experience the casino now as a fighter.
Yep.
Like I know, like I'm proud of what we do in Monroeville too. Don't get me wrong. I think we put on a great show no matter where we're at.
Yep.
But that casino is different.
Yeah.
It is better. It is crazier. If you're into that crazy, you know, energetic atmosphere, it's you can't. It's such a small space. You can't replace that.
Yeah,
it's
and that's like, so I loved fighting at the War Memorial.
Oh,
when you guys did that. I mean, I know it's hard for you guys to do a show, but like,
yeah.
And that's another thing with some of these amateur guys. Like you have something that you take for granted by having a promotion at your doorstep.
Yeah, true.
Because like I had it at one point. You know, when Altoona was putting on shows. Fun fact for everybody: the Altoona cage is the 247 cage.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't know that?
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's
nice.
So when Ryan wanted to get started, you know, I knew the old promoter in Altoona that had the cage.
Yeah.
And so I set them two up to Ryan come down and looked at it and ended up buying it.
Nice. And never knew that.
Yeah, so Ryan knows me big, man.
Wow.
Big. So
the way he talks about you, and you go to his cage.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, like I had that in my back door. You know what I mean? I was able. I say, yeah, I can get 200 and some of my own people here for this, and then I lost it. And then it's like, you can't, you can't sell us very many tickets. Well, then we only got this dude that's 12-0 for you. Like you become an opponent, you know. And like if you guys ever want to go back into Johnstown, anybody that's close to Johnstown needs to jump on that card.
Yeah.
And anytime you guys do go into town, anybody that's local, like, jump on that card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have a promotion in your backyard is one of the best things you could possibly have. So.
I mean, we feel, you mentioned it earlier, you bring a good crowd despite being far away.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But that's not normal either. We don't even expect that either, to be fair. We only expect it from you because we know you're going to do it.
I give myself like a certain amount on each fight.
Okay.
And so like the Johnstown one, I gave myself an amount to hit on how my ticket sells. I won't go into numbers. But,
Sure.
And I hit that amount at Johnstown. Well, then the next Monroeville card, when I fought Barberina, I'm like, all right, well, it's farther than Johnstown, but I'll try to hit the same.
And it's for
amount.
a title, so there's a little extra juice.
I'll try to hit the same amount. Well, we did the ticket consignment, after the weigh-ins and stuff, and you were like, dude, you had like a shitload on that house. I'm like, what?
I did.
Like, I had no idea. You know what I mean? So I ended up going above
Yep.
what I wanted to hit.
I remember
like
you being super surprised by
I
your
was like,
online
shit,
sales.
that's awesome. You know what I mean?
Dude.
And like ideally for Ryan and them, they would rather keep me on a Monroeville card.
Yeah.
Because it's closer and I can do better ticket sales and stuff there. But obviously I'm not waiting until whenever the Monroeville, I think July
15th.
July. Yeah. And I'm not waiting until that to fight. So
smart, first of all, because like you said, this card, for you to headline it, I mean, this is, we just did a podcast about it, so I'm not going to rehash it or sound like a broken record, but like it's selling fast already, and we haven't even tried to sell it yet.
Yeah, you guys jumped on me yesterday about like, hey, you got, and I forgot about my ticket consignment. Like you got sent it a while ago, and I forgot about it. And then he sent me the stuff for like my paperwork, and I was like, dude, you do realize like I'm not doing any paperwork until like March. Right. Like I'm not going to do my blood work in January and then losing February, March.
Exactly.
Until
get it close so it stays.
But and I forgot all about this assignment. I'm like, oh shit, I better fill that out.
Well, we kind of panicked because we were looking at it. Wasn't just you, to be fair. Like, you don't gotta feel bad. It's not going to surprise you that fighters procrastinate on stuff.
Oh no, not at all.
I had to text a lot of guys and be like, hey, not a false alarm. Like we really need you to do this, because if you don't, your family, friends, they're going to be shit out of luck.
You're not going to have any.
Yeah. So.
And, I think like the last show, I think Patton had, or not the last one called him headline. The first one, Patton headline there, and Patton had a crowd.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And Patton does.
He always has a crowd.
The kid does good for. He brings a crowd with him every single time.
I mean, now that Kama's retired, no doubt, Patton's the hottest selling pro in Pittsburgh.
Him and Masick would have been. Masick was big.
Was huge, and Jake Lowry.
Yeah, Lowry was big too.
Yep.
But. I mean, I think Kama probably was higher than the rest of them a little bit.
All time.
Obviously,
all time.
Definitely. But like in the day, Cherico was the man.
Cherico was king.
Cherico
and Mazzata.
Like you would, if Cherico was here right now and he was fighting in April, you would have bought a ticket off him for your own show.
That's
how much of a sales pitch he was good at.
You know what he said.
He would make you buy a ticket for your own show.
He said he'd be shoveling a sidewalk and somebody would walk by and he'd sell him a ticket.
Yeah, dude, that's the hustle you got to have. He's absolutely right. Yep. Like that's what you got, and not only just in ticket. I mean, in anything that you want to do, if it's what you want to do, that you got to fucking hustle.
Go earn it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to give you shit in this sport, that's for sure. Yeah, on promoter end or on the fighter end.
Exactly. So, like he was the king of it. Yeah. Garbrandt, he had a pretty big name, so he was able. And Mazzata was good at it too.
Mazzata was definitely the man at it.
There's been some, you talk about it, I mean, dude, there's been some high-level guys that come out, with Cherico and Garbrandt, and like Cherico should have got a shot.
I think so,
before
too.
he did.
Yep.
And who sucked for him that it happened at the end when he had the neck injury and stuff.
Exactly. He really shouldn't have taken that fight, and he knew it was like, this is my last chance.
Yeah. But him, Garbrandt was a Ohio boy, but he also, was
trained here for a while.
Yeah. And then Dempsey, and I remember Dempsey kind of like, he was always king of the cage, never really fought for Pinnacle or anything. The next thing you know, it's like, bam, Dempsey signed to UFC.
Yep.
Shit, really?
Yep.
But yeah, Dempsey, Mazzata.
It was crazy. Milstead went to the UFC.
Milstead, yep. And Adam's an awesome dude.
I love Adam Milstead, dude.
Just that the talent that's come out of here has been unreal.
Insane.
Right.
And then the ones like Jason Cardillo, who just was 7-0 and demolished everybody.
Wilcox.
Yeah,
Justin Wilcox. Yeah, he was in his day. He was good.
Beast, man. That dude's biceps were.
Oh yeah,
he looked ridiculous.
He was a mini Hulk.
Yes, he looked ridiculous.
Then there was Anthony Durnell.
Yeah, Anthony Durnell.
He was good in his day.
He definitely
you know what I mean?
was.
Like there were some studs that came out.
Justin Steve in boxing and MMA, dude. You're right. It was a good time. But what's exciting is that I feel like it's coming back around.
Yeah,
like it took a while.
That's the cool thing. Like it is recircling back around now, because now you're starting to see it build, and you're starting to see a bunch of amateur guys come up, and you know, you're seeing guys like, for example, when Tanner called out Lucas Siebert.
Yeah.
Like, there's absolutely no reason why that shouldn't happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no reason why guys from different gyms here in Pittsburgh, as an amateur, you know,
for sure.
If you train with a guy on a regular basis, then yeah, you know what I mean. But if you trained with him once or twice, you know what I mean, fight him. It's an amateur.
He's not
fight.
coming to your wedding.
You know what I mean? It's an amateur fight, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Guys like, I come out from Altoona, dude. I had to fight all. I got thrown to the ringer. I fought every 145 or Pittsburgh
We just
had.
thought you had to fight DeJesus.
Yeah, fucking DeJesus, Schilling, fucking Catalina. I forget the other kid's name. Julian Ramos. Like, I had to go through them all. Hayes, like, I had to run through all of them.
Yep.
And a lot of my, you know,
and now you're friends with a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of them I trained with and stuff before.
Yep.
But like the guys from Danilo should fight the guys from Stout, and the guys from Stout should fight the guys from Mad Factory.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Get it rolling, because it doesn't matter. Like, it's an amateur fight. You know what I mean? Kama fought from Mad Factory. I'm having a brain fart
now.
right now.
I'm blanking. Help me out, Danny Palm.
He fought Francis Healy.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean? And Healy was a pit bull,
throwback.
right? And them two fought as pros. Like, dude, that
I
shit happened
honestly
all the
didn't
time.
know that. I don't remember that.
That was
matchup.
like, that was right when
Wow.
I was just like coming into the scene when that happened.
Francis Healy's another one, by the way. So
dude,
talented.
dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a dog. And I've trained with Francis a bunch before too.
Yep.
I haven't seen him in a long time, but you know what I mean? There's like a lot of these amateurs, you know, for the amateur fighters and stuff. It's like, dude, it really, when you turn around and you do go pro, you start over at 0-0. You know what I mean?
You're 0-0
It doesn't
again,
matter.
Yep.
So it's all for the experience. You know, you get the experience and everything in, and
That's awesome.
So-
Those are wise words from the 2022 247 Pro Fighter of the Year, man.
Yeah.
You got Pro Fighter of the Year last year. How can you one up that this year?
Oh, well, I got to redo it again this year. So I got Pro Fight of the Year in 2022. We didn't really do the awards in 2021, but I think I was awarded Fight of the Year
Yeah,
though,
that's
in
true.
2021.
That's true.
I mean, it was kind of discussed, but it wasn't
Wasn't
no awards,
officially
you
awarded.
cheap ass Ryan. You couldn't buy awards back in 2021. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my thing is just put on, dude. Keep putting on. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Just keep showing up. Basically the same as it was in my whole career. Just stay the course.
For sure.
You know, no matter what happens, stay the course. Keep putting on, and you know, I'm peaking. I'm at my. It's my time now. You know, we go through these stages. We're, like I said, you know, it's Cherika's era, Garbrandt's era, Kalma's era. Now it's Goss's era.
Goss's era.
So,
Hey, man, I like the sounds of that. Next step in the journey, April 15th at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. Tickets are on sale right now.
hit your boy up. Don't buy them anywhere else. You get them from me.
However, if you do buy them on 247fighting.com, they
You
can
buy 'em
still
there
choose
too,
your
yeah.
name.
Yeah. Whatever you
we'll
do.
surprise you with online sales again.
Whatever you do it from my name.
Do it for Ethan. Do it for Middlesworth.
Yeah. Do it for the raccoon. We didn't even talk about the coons, but do it for the raccoons out there. All the little raccoons running around.
Somewhere Darren
Someone loves
Cassidy,
you. Yeah.
Somewhere Darren's listening. Like, how did they not talk about raccoons in
Yeah.
an hour and a half?
It's all you little coons running around, raccoons running around out there. Just know, Daddy loves you.
We can't end any better than that. End it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. Come watch Ethan fight.